So we have transparency. So the energy of transparency supports our expansion toward a higher vibrational state of being with more insight, honesty, and clarity. Wow, okay. I feel like the energy is somewhat similar to that of group one because we're talking about somebody wanting to open up, wanting to be clear about how they feel for you. So let's grab your tarot card now and then we'll kind of just look at all of the crowning energy at once. Okay, we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. This person really, most of all, wants to be accepted by you. They want you to love them for who they truly are. But the challenge is that sometimes they find it hard to show you who they truly are because they're so afraid of being rejected. I don't feel like you've given them any reason to believe that you wouldn't be accepting and loving toward them. In fact, I think you have a strong desire to get to know them on a deeper level. And it's like you would be totally cool with seeing things from their perspective or trying the things that they like or just knowing how they really feel at any given time. I think that's the energy I'm getting from you. But their energy feels more constricted, like rejection is just top of mind for them and it's what they want to prevent most of all. So it's like it makes it hard for them to get close to anyone because they're so afraid that they won't be accepted. This feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy for them because it feels like they do want to show you who they are and they do want to be open and upfront with you, but then they get so afraid that they can't do it and they're almost creating the situation that they're afraid of the most by not being able to get past this thing, not being able to get past this point. I can tell it's weighing on them though. It's a lot. It feels like it's a lot to keep up with, or it's a lot of stress on them internally to worry this much about not being accepted for who they are. This is like, it's kind of a heavy energy. I'm hoping when we jump into the tarot more, I can like figure out what's going on and why they're feeling this way. I don't feel like it's coming from you. I just feel like this is a challenge that they have. So I would not go so far as to say that this person's being dishonest. It's not like that. It's more like they're protecting themselves so much that it's really hard for you to get past their outer shell sometimes. And it can leave you feeling like you're in the dark. Like you have no idea what's going on. You don't know how they feel. Sometimes I think it can even be like, you don't know if they feel. Like, you know logically that they do, but it's like you can't access that emotional side to them or something, or they're just not opening up. I think they can shut it off. They can really shut it down because it's so scary for them. I think it would be so devastating for them to be vulnerable and to be rejected at the same time, like a double whammy. I'm kind of picking up from this fish energy that this person likes movement in their life. They like momentum. They like to see things growing and changing. So if they're not careful though, this person struggles with false momentum in their life. Like, you know how sometimes you can be like creating change that's not necessarily getting you anywhere, but it feels like it because there's a lot of action, there's a lot of activity. So like some people might, let's say they date a lot of people and they think that they are like moving forward, they're creating momentum, they're getting out there, they're meeting people, but in reality they're not connecting with anybody very deeply. So it's not doing them a lot of good. It's just taking a lot of time and energy to do that. So I think that this person in life in general, they can struggle with this, with almost creating a delusion for themselves sometimes, just to like make it feel like stuff is moving, because they don't like to be still. And I think there are some areas of their life where movement is really challenging for them. It feels like on an emotional level, movement is challenging for them. So they'll move in other areas of their life. But like, even if they're moving and even if it's creating success, there's nothing that can make up for the fact that they aren't paying a lot of attention to that area that they're ignoring. Like, making moves in one area isn't necessarily going to solve problems in another area, but it keeps them busy. Like, I think that that's a lot of it, is like keeping their mind busy to distract from the things that are really uncomfortable for them. It's like they kind of like to gloss over things and avoid getting to the heart of the issue, because the avoidance keeps them in that really safe spot, or at least it gives them that temporary feeling of safety. And like, sometimes that's good enough. I mean, I think sometimes that's good enough for this person, and I think for all of us, sometimes that's good enough. Like, sometimes it's the best we can do, sometimes it's the quick fix, and it's the band-aid. And I think that this person reaches for the band-aid a lot of the time, maybe too often, and they would benefit more from like figuring out why the wound is there in the first place, figuring out how the wound can be healed, because the band-aid isn't going to cut it. The band-aid is just going to allow them to keep going right then, but it's not going to solve the underlying issue. I think that they just have a tendency to avoid going too deep, because that level of connection is really, really uncomfortable for them. But it feels like this whole cycle, because that's what it is. It feels like a cycle for them. It feels like the whole cycle is just so draining for them. It really wears on them with the Ten of Swords. It feels like a cycle, though. It feels like a situation that they keep creating, and then creating it because they created it and there's no way out, and then creating it again because there's nothing else they can do. And I think that this showing up like this, it tells me that this is what's on this person's mind. So this can be an indication that this person is starting to realize that this is, like, first of all, going to be a never-ending cycle, and it's not going to lead to fulfillment for them if they're not transparent. Now, I do want to say, although I am feeling like this heavier energy, so for a lot of you, this person is just starting to come to this realization, and this could have been a challenge in the connection. It doesn't have to be this. This can be something in this person's past that they had to learn about themselves, and maybe something that they still occasionally struggle with, but it doesn't have to be as prevalent as like just all the time this is what they're doing. It just can be like a habit that they can sometimes fall back into. And if they have tendencies to pull away, it really is because of this fear of not being loved. They just don't want to like show all their cards. Feels like an appropriate thing to say as we are looking at these cards. They don't feel very comfortable showing all their cards because they're kind of afraid that like maybe you won't like their cards. And so I think they kind of wear a mask to keep that from happening. I think they know that they want to be open and honest, is what I'm saying. Like, I think that energy is coming through. They know that they want to be emotionally, like, level up in that way. I think, it's just scaring them. I'm just feeling into that energy. It's just kind of scaring them. They just fall back into these old habits of being closed off. It feels like something about this connection might be really healing for them, because it's definitely going to cause them to stretch. So one thing, if you're not really noticing this stuff going on in this person, or if this is something that happened in the past, but now they seem like they're figuring it out, I think what they're not so willing to tell you is that this connection healed something in them really deeply. And if that hasn't happened yet, then it's like this connection has the potential to heal something in them that's super deep, that like it really runs deep for them. And I think telling you that would be the ultimate like opening up to let you know that you helped heal them on this deep level, that this connection and the way they feel for you healed them. That feels outside of what would be comfortable for them to say. I'll just be honest. I think that they want to feel more secure in showing you who they really are. They want to really be seen by you in particular. I think that this is kind of something that they wish would happen, like in general in life, to really feel like they're seen. But I think being seen by you would be, it would be like all they really need, or it would be a huge fulfillment for them, because they do have deep feelings for you. But you know what it feels like to me? It feels like they want you to really see them, but it's almost like they don't want they want you to see them without them having to show you, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they want to skip the hard part. There's a part of them that really wants to skip the hard part, where they have to open up. They just kind of wish it would happen magically, and and I think in some ways what they're not seeing is that on a certain level it already has, because they don't realize how much you do see them. They just don't realize how much you already accept them. I think this is someone who may have had the feeling of not fitting in, or like being sort of the black sheep of their family or something like that. Because it seems like there are some wounds here around maybe not being or feeling like they're fully loved and appreciated by somebody close to them. So I think this is something that's kind of like spilled over into romantic connection for them, if they have felt like they just weren't appreciated for the unique being that they are. But with you, I think you are appreciating them in all those ways. So it's just a matter of breaking old habits. So let's look into the tarot. And let's see what is going on here. Find out what this person's deep hidden feelings are when it comes to this connection. Okay, we have the King of Wands. Of course, I dropped a card, because I always do. So we have the Nine of Coins that fell out. I kind of love this energy. It's a little bit different so far than what we were seeing in the crowning energies for this. We have the King of Cups in reverse. That makes total sense here. The Three of Cups, and we'll get one more card. This makes sense. The Ace of Wands. Okay. You know, this person, I think when it comes to pursuing their passions, maybe like their career goals or something that they feel really passionate about, it looks like they've got that. Like, they're good at that. That's probably the movement I was picking up on earlier. Like, they like to see movement, they like to see momentum in their life. So they may be like a real go-getter, somebody who's very, just very good at what they do. Like, they really pursue their goals. They'll give it all they've got when it comes to like their professional life, or it can be some other area of their life. You'll kind of know like what area it is that they feel confident in it. They feel like they want to see progress. They make sure they see progress. This could be somebody who works a lot, who devotes a lot of time to their job, and maybe not quite as much time to connections and going to that uncomfortable place. It's really just another kind of repeated theme of whatever's most comfortable to them, they just gravitate towards that, which on a certain level we all do that, because why would you want to be uncomfortable all the time? But they just kind of like gravitate towards that. So if they just feel very confident in their job, they're good at what they do, they make good money, or they can feel very good and accomplished about the work that they do, they will just pour themselves into that energy. So this is someone who can come across as really passionate and very driven. I also think that they can be a lot of fun too. This energy here was kind of like, it's kind of dark, it's kind of heavy. And I think the reason that it came through like that is because this is truly their deepest, darkest, most hidden, like, side that was coming through, which is, that's what I asked for. So I like that. But it's like what they've got going on beneath the surface is a little bit darker. It's a little bit harder. It's kind of tough. It's kind of hard. It's like there's things that they are really working through that are deep and meaningful, and it really could have something to do with deep woundings that took place way back in the day. This could be childhood stuff. This could be like some kind of abandonment, or just feelings of not being cared for by their parents. Like, it could go that deep. It could be something that started a long time ago, and it kind of like rears its ugly head when we talk about connection on a romantic level or something. But this person has figured out a way to be successful, to be driven, to be magnetic in a way, and they just kind of they tend to rely on that. They tend to rely on this happy-go-lucky side of them, even though like they've got a lot of depth. I can kind of see why this would be a special person to you, like why this person's on your mind, why you feel a deep connection to them, because on the surface they come across one way, but there's more to it. And I think if you've gotten to know these sides of this person, you're intrigued by them, your understanding of the woundings, it's like it makes you love them even more. But that's hard for them to understand. That their flaws, what they view as flaws, could be the thing that's endearing. It could be the thing that draws you to them. It could be the reason that you connect to them, because you might relate to some of this stuff. Like, that's hard for them to understand. They really want to present something that's really like it's clean, it's easy. They want to present something that's just fun, all fun, and they have more to them than just fun. They've got they have a past, they have history, they have feelings, emotions, they have wounds, they have a lot to share, which I think just makes them more lovable. But it might be a little hard for them to see that. I think they're just really good at creating something that looks good on the outside. It's not that they're shallow at all. Like we've just discussed, they're not shallow at all, but that's just the easiest way for them to clean it up. If they look like they're having fun, if they look like they're successful, if they look like everything's cool, then they try to just go with that, because that's a lot easier than getting into all this Ten of Wands stuff. It's just so much easier to stay there. This person also really has a very independent quality to them with this Nine of Coins, and really there's a lot here that kind of says that. They feel like they're very self-sufficient. This could be because their job is like they work alone or something. They could work from home, or they could run a business, or just maybe just the nature of their work doesn't make them like have to work with other people. It really doesn't have to be that though. It's more just this feeling of like they can take care of themselves. I think that they like that. I think they lean on that. I think it makes them feel comfortable and secure. Like, I've got this. I've got it all together. They, from this feeling of being independent, they can push people away, sometimes without even realizing that they're doing it, because they do value their independence so much. And, you know, maybe this is someone who's had to learn how to take care of themselves. They may have had to learn this at an early age. They may have really valued this ability to like do things on their own, and it's like it's become a part of their personality now. And I think it's a great quality, but it's just the part where they don't realize how much that independence can push people away. But it feels almost like they want to push people away before they can be pushed away. So they just try to like not rely on people, especially when it comes to emotions. They don't want to rely on people emotionally, because that's really scary. If they were ever pushed away or left hanging, that would be really scary to them. When it comes to this emotional side of themselves, that's where they don't feel very well equipped at all. And it's funny because I think this person is very capable. So I think they demonstrate how capable they are in every area, but when it comes to emotional stuff, that's where they waver, that's where they falter, that's where it gets a little bit more complicated for them. This King of Cups came out in reverse right in the middle of your reading. That's an emotional side for them. That's maybe a little bit harder for them to access. It's a little bit more terrifying for them to access than the King of Wands. I love that they came through here as two kings. This is someone definitely in their power. Even if their power has been a little bit toppled or distorted, this is someone who is in their power. They are magnetic. I can see what the appeal here is. This is someone who is magnetic and who it feels like they're in control, and they like to exude that sense of control. But yeah, they don't feel completely balanced and completely at ease when it comes to these emotional things. They feel like a fish out of water when it comes to emotions. The fish. So yeah, so that's so appropriate there. When it comes to you in this connection, they feel like wanting you to accept this emotional side of them is the biggest ask. Like that is the most that they could ask of any person, because they feel like it's the weakest part of them. I think in their minds, it's like, it's hard enough to be accepted for all of the good things about me, all of the things that like I'm great at and that I'm accomplishing. All the things that really should be celebrated, that's hard enough, but it's even harder to be accepted for the not so pretty parts. And so it's those not so pretty parts that they're hesitant to show you. They're in a period right now, I think, of realizing that their strength really is their weakness, if that makes any sense. Like what they've been through, that weak part of them, I'm doing air quotes, because it's not actually weakness. It's just, this is how they're viewing it. So I'm trying to like swim through and sift through these thoughts that are running through this person's head, but it's like, that thing that they've identified as their weakness is actually their strength. It's really important for them that you see them as really strong and capable, I think. So that's why they've identified this as weakness, because it makes them not feel very strong. But they want to honor the bond that they have with you. It's like, how do they do that without being exposed and being vulnerable? That's the question that they're asking. So how can you reach something so deep without tapping into those deeper emotions? I think they're really starting to like wonder about this. They're starting to ask themselves this. For some of you, you have a history with this person. The Three of Cups always makes me think of like this nostalgic feeling, or the feeling of like a reconnection or something. And with the Ace of Wands here, there's like a certain determination here. So I think that they're really committed to finding a way to balance these two opposing sides of themselves, because it feels like they're having a hard time reconciling this energy. I think they're more comfortable in this fiery Wands energy. They're more comfortable in a more like a driven, fast moving kind of place, something where they can just pursue what they're good at and just kind of like stay in that energy. But they're kind of trying to figure out how they can balance these two things out. I think this person's a really strong, not just strong like in what they've been through, but they just seem to be like some kind of force. Just all this king energy, some kind of force. And I think in a lot of ways you might be too, because some of this energy could be yours. It's definitely your person's, but this could be you too. So a lot of this you might relate to, but just coming through as kings on kings is just like, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot. There's commitment here. They want to figure this out. They want to figure out how to balance that and like figure out how to give you that chance to love and accept them for who they really are. And I think they're starting to see that if they can figure that out, that makes them even stronger. So that's kind of the silver lining to all of this, is that once they realize where their power is, that power is in that spot where they've identified as weak, I think they're going to make some progress here and probably open up a lot about some of the ways that they've been feeling. So let's get some messages from your person before we close out this reading. So what would Virtue's person say to them if they could, or if they would? Like I said in reading one, because that's what it feels like sometimes. It's like maybe they just won't. So this says, I will wait for a sign from you. So yeah, this person feels like they try to read your mind to figure out when it's going to be safe to kind of like peek out, to kind of expose themselves a little bit. There's a tentative feeling around this energy, and I think it has a lot to do with this struggle for acceptance. There's a part of them that wants you to make the first move because that's the easier way. It would be the pattern, the habit to fall back on, and they don't have to worry about rejection as much if it happens that way. But there's another part of them that realizes that they have to do the work for this to work. There's some part of this that, like, there's something that's required of them, and they realize that. And then we have We Will Be Together Again. I always love that card. I love when that comes out because there's something so determined about it. And we were talking about this determined energy with the Ace of Wands, and then it's right over that. Like, I like that energy because it's like, no matter what we're going through, we're gonna get through it. Even if you aren't in complete separation with this person, if you've just hit like a rough spot, or if there's something that they're unable to open up about, they are confident that this is gonna come back to a place of harmony. And I love that. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all the messages I see for you. I'm gonna leave this reading here. It's a lot to take in, so so let's leave it there. If you liked this video, if it resonated for you, don't forget to like it, leave me a comment down below and let me know how it resonated. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, or the bell, I shouldn't say or, and the bell. I think that helps you be notified when I upload videos. So yeah, go ahead and hit that bell too with the subscribe button if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you in another reading really, really soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye.